worried that you might be the cool kid, you wear the latest fashions on top of all the trends? Or have you ever worried you were too much in the mainstream, always so generic, more normal than your friends? Well, we've devised a test to put to rest your fears. There's no need to panic if you lend us your ears. Tonight you can sleep easy after all that you've heard, cause if you like the show, then you're probably a nerd. Oh, Canon, it's all. Tyler, Phil, and Boris. So Canon, it's Canon, it's all in Canon.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the It's Canon podcast. Welcome back. We are back. That's right. It is the podcast where we talk about all things geek, all things pop culture, whether it be comics, toys, video games, Lego, anything and everything. We've got you covered here on the It's Canon podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and I am joined by Phil. Phil,
oh, you leave this place for a little bit and it gets all polished up. My goodness.
Yeah, I know, right?
Countdown, nice little new environment here. I'm telling you, lots of changes afoot.
Yep. But still, the one thing that hasn't changed is that this is still the podcast where the theme song is more popular than the content itself.
Fair enough. Catchy ass theme song. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Indeed. Thank you, Kevin. Indeed. What a crazy few months it's been, man. It's honestly been awesome. It's been crazy. Happy New Year. We're still in January. You're allowed to still say it. Yeah, Happy New Year to all our listeners. I hope
we haven't talked that much. Just so everybody knows, we haven't talked that much. I went through the summer of hell, which is why our recording schedule came completely unhinged. It's pretty much completely on the fact that I live with an 85-year-old man who broke 7 ribs. And yeah, I had to go into emergency son mode. and care for him, which jeopardized my recording time, so life got in the way. But I know Boris had some stuff going on too, but
yeah,
personal life,
I was busy
there. Yeah,
I was busy. Tyler still half dead. Tyler, if you're listening, which I know you're not, hopefully you're doing well, but
yes. Happy New Year, Tyler, wherever you may be. If you're listening.
Exactly. Phil, it is awesome. It's honestly awesome to be back. We are going to try to keep this going. Yeah. We're going to try to this show is never going to die. Let's be honest. This is the cockroach of podcasts. You know what's crazy? On and off. I have now been doing this show for 10 years.
Yeah, I was thinking it's getting to be something that I've done for 4 years now.
Yep, since the pandemic, May of 2020.
Like, geez, man. That's even I'm getting to become a cockroach.
Right?
But, well, yeah. And we had birthdays.
The amount of times that both you and I could have died.
Yeah, that's true. Happy birthday. I had a birthday.
You had a birthday.
Yeah,
I had a birthday in since we haven't talked. What else is going on? Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's. What else is going on in the world? A lot of stuff is going on in the world of geek, man. This has been a crazy few months. So today on the show, we're actually going to be doing a bit of a catch up. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, I actually did some planning. I actually did some research. So we're going to have a great talk. We're going to be talking about a little something that comes out on Friday, but we're going to expand on that conversation. We're going to be focusing the conversation on Kill the Justice League, the Rocksteady game that's getting all the love, and by love, I mean all of the hate from IGN and others, but we're going to delve into that a little bit. We're going to talk about live service games. Let me do what I always do when it gets out of focus. Live service games, is this the future of video games? I hope not, but we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking as streaming becomes more and more popular, as Amazon Prime introduces an ad version, that just means that everything else is going to go up in price, as the WWE signs a $10 billion contract with Netflix chump over change. The next, chump change, $5 billion. I always get that wrong. It's $5 billion over 10 years.
Still
we'll talk about that a little
big
bit.
amount of money. We're in the billions,
yeah, exactly.
baby.
We'll,
like the billions.
We'll talk about the
millions.
ramifications of that. The ramifications of, I love how we're talking over each other. So, you know, we haven't done this show in so long.
Yep.
The ramifications of, you know, streaming in general, live sports. Is this the future? Well, we're going to be chatting about that. And we're also going to be then talking a little bit about piracy and the rise of piracy. I have some reports and some numbers from 2023, which good enough for me, because that's the last time that they did some of these reports. So yeah, a lot to talk about. We're gonna get right into things, and by right into things, I mean, well, we're gonna pry into each other's life. So Phil, what is going on in the life de Phil?
Oh, well, I was going to tell you off air, and then I thought, I'll save the story for on air. The story of my gaming chair, which I'm sitting in right now. Tyler bought one too. Story of this chair is like, I went to buy it before the pandemic, had no idea of what was going to be coming. Got this gaming chair thinking like this is going to be something I sit in probably 2 or 3 hours a night, that type of thing. And what ended up happening is the pandemic hits, and then I found out gaming chairs aren't fun for your back. So then the thing is that this chair is probably about a $400 chair. Not high end, not a Secret Labs, nothing like that. It's just a half decent discount chair. Then I just meandered on to Amazon, and I thought, you know what? I am going to buy a new ergonomic chair.
Yep.
So I bought this, $200 and some odd chair that has a mesh back and a headrest and everything. A nice chair. It corrects my posture quite well, which I'm quite happy with. But it's not as good as this chair. Like, that's the thing. I think I'm deformed now due to gaming chairs, because I'm like, no, the more expensive one, it's heavier. It doesn't creak as much. It's got the padding in the right places now. Like, my body's contoured to it. It's just, I'm in a weird spot, man, on chairs. Maybe I just need to go out, bite the bullet, and buy like a nice, those new Razor chairs or something that have the mesh backs that are apparently way more ergonomic. I don't know, but my body's been messed up with that. I've been going back and forth between chairs and just keep on coming back to this bad boy with the armrests that move and orbit and stuff. Like, it's just the little features.
Yeah, I have a regular office chair. It's a very good office chair that I have, but it's just a regular old boring office chair that supports my back, my knees, and everything in between, which is thankful, because, man, we're not spring chickens anymore.
No, and that's the thing. I remember my work selling the old office chairs, and I thought, nope. I'm kicking myself on that one. That was a missed opportunity. Because it's
honestly, office chairs.
You go to work and like they're $700 chairs. They're good, and they are obliged to take care of you as an employee. Whereas when it's my money, I'm like, Amazon special, here I come.
Right? That's the thing, right? It's like, it's so funny how that mentality. It's like you're so cheap on yourself for things that you shouldn't be, like chairs. But in your case, I see you have some new helmets back there.
Yeah. I may have procured a few, one in particular, the Ahsoka shock trooper, clone trooper helmet. I'm that, but I had ordered that. Originally, I had ordered the white one, and then this repaint came out. They unveiled it shortly after, and I think it was just before the Ahsoka show went live, and it was like May 4th or something. And I pre-ordered it then, and I waited half a year for that one.
Yep.
And you know what? I missed out on the Scout Trooper helmet, which I would have loved to have. I've always been a fan of that Scout Trooper helmet, but it's hard to find it anywhere right now. It's really difficult. So I'm hoping to get my hands on a Carson Teva. I have the Dave Filoni's one. I'm hoping to get Paul Sun Young Lee's character's helmet. But if I don't get it, I don't get it. They're just repaints, right? And that's the thing. So I've pretty much vowed to start laying low on the helmet front. I'm running out of spaces for them, and goodness knows I have so many repaints. Boba Fett, the white one. Like, it's just there's just too many, man. There's and
Yeah.
it's not like you can wear them, but it's not like you're going to wear them. Like
If you're lucky, she will. But the thing is, it's not. They take up a lot of room, right? It's not like they're small. I can't even fathom having one or two behind me. Well, I gotta get one. Like it's gonna happen. Yeah. I'm waiting for the right one. But I'm also thinking. So Gotham Comics in Mississauga, you know them. They have a Batman cowl that I'm really, really, really eyeing. I am eyeing this Batman cowl so badly, so much. And I know as a fact that in February, it is their anniversary sale. So methinks I'm going to get a Batman cowl.
Do it. It's you know what? You only live once. Like, that's the thing, right?
YOLO?
Yeah, well, I sound like Drake. No, but what I mean is tomorrow's not guaranteed for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
I learned that
of the day, if
the entire month of December, that tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's just a simple fact. If you're going to be able to have happiness today, you're going to be able to make more money tomorrow. You're not going to be able to go back and get that thing, right? And that's I'm not trying to give you a hoarder mentality or something. No. I know I have collections that are out of control and whatnot, but it's just the simple fact of the matter is money's easy to make when it gets down to it. Like you can find work, or you can do things, you can sell things. Like I was telling you yesterday, I'm going through my comics and I had a loose in pretty good condition, not mint. I won't fool myself and say it's mint, but a pretty darn good condition Dazzler #1 just floating around in the box on the top out of a bag. And I'm like, okay, I need to bag this because I Googled it and the eBay value is like $100. So I'm like, all right, I have this weird kick with Dazzler where I remember being very swept up with her in the X-Men comics. And then she came out with her solo book and I bought a few of those. I've lost track of them except for #1. And I also, a couple of years ago, because of our friends at Comic Book Counseling, Brad and Lisa, they had been tweeting about some X-Men figures, and I went out and I bought a Dazzler because I was just like, like, good luck finding Wolverine, right? It's just like, okay, but here's a weird unknown one. I have fond memories about trying to figure out what the hell her superpower was. I still don't know. She dazzles. Like,
that's exactly it.
Their counterpart is the Bedazzler.
Yep. That's pretty much it, man. That is pretty much it. Yeah, for sure. Like, man, you just made me think of my old comic collection, the one that got drowned.
I was hoping that wouldn't trigger you. I was... I knew it when I sent you the message, and I'm like, oh, I hope that doesn't hit a nerve.
It's been 6 years. Not like I'm counting the days, circling the days in my calendar. It's not like that whatsoever. So I have a story for you.
I also found the Last Starfighter #1. $2.
Oh, nice.
9 cents. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
So yeah, you have a story.
I have a story for you. See, this is a good one. So, and I wish I can bring up the email to share on the YouTube, but I'm having issues with our hosting company right now, as I was telling Phil. And essentially, remember last time when we had Dax a couple episodes ago?
Yes.
And we were showing the trailers. And I flat out said,
oh, no.
What did I say? What did I say?
Get a copyright strike. DCMA.
I have one better. This is where things this is where things get hilarious. So, the company that distributes Men with Brooms, Alliance Atlantis, doesn't exist anymore, right?
Right. Oh, dear.
All right.
Yeah.
Alliance Atlantis. Hasbro bought parts of it. Sony bought parts of it. But the movie distribution is owned by Lionsgate right now.
Oh boy. Yeah. How many
So,
people did we piss off here?
right?
We'll
So
just listen to the
Lionsgate.
names. These are all litigious things.
Especially Hasbro, and the kick that they've been in. So
Oh God.
Hasbro and Lionsgate, couple people send me an email and they're like, hey, in a recent episode of, like, I'm just summarizing it again. I wish I can show the email. I'm just summarizing things right now. And there was a couple emails, and essentially it was from some of the same people. Hey, we noticed that in the latest episode of the It's Canon podcast, blah, 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 you showed the official trailer to Men with Brooms, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like reading slowly. I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. This is it. We're going to get pinched. We're pinched. This is it. Nope. They want to use that clip for promotional material.
Oh wow. That's hilarious. We're trying to make you into viral, people.
Right? So I said, sure. But I just said, like, we have no say in how they're going to use it.
Yeah,
It could
I know.
Don't be like these motherfuckers.
Yeah. Look at
We're
these two
sued them.
morons. These three morons are really getting off on this crap. Watch them watch Tusk.
Oh, so yeah. So
Oh.
we'll see what they use that video for. I sent it to them like 2 weeks ago or something like that. So let's see what they send and what they send back, and yeah. So there you go.
I'm kind of scared now.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yep. Hasbro.
Wow.
Lionsgate.
Oh, good on them. I see their
Sony.
name in the news a lot lately. Sony.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Better than
Alex says
at least it's not Miramax.
Yeah, at least it's not Miramax. At least Harry Weinstein or whatever his name is, Harvey Weinstein, isn't coming for us. You lost my copy of Last of Us in that flood, you bastard. I think that's why he's keeping your Last of Us too.
It's his. I have his version of the remake.
Oh, okay.
So
did you download the new expansion for Last of Us 2, the remaster?
No.
So here's my experience. I woke up in the morning. I didn't pre-order it because I couldn't figure out how to pre-order it.
Hold on. Before we go anywhere, my every version, something bad has happened to me when I've loaded The Last of Us on any system. So
yeah, I know you've had systems die, everything. So what ended up happening was I didn't pre-download it or pre-order it or do anything because it all came in at like $89.99 or whatever it was. And I'm like, nope, I keep on hearing 10 or 15 bucks. So that morning I wake up, check my newsfeed. My newsfeed is telling me, oh, Sony is issuing refunds for everybody who pre-ordered it who shouldn't have, because they have the other copy and they know it. So they're just outright issuing a refund. So yay, Sony, for doing the right thing right off the bat. And then all I had to do was just go into the game and it said, do you want to upgrade for $15 right now and download the new PS5 version for 110 gigabytes? And I'm like, yes. And that was it. It was a no. Like, that is the way companies, please take note. I've gone through the Cyberpunk. I've gone through the Witcher. I've gone through other expansions or other discounted video game experiences. That was the way to do it, except it would have been nice to know a little bit ahead of time, a better communication path of, oh yeah, if you bought the game or you have a digital copy, because that was the one thing. They kept on saying the physical disc. And I bought a digital copy. So I'm like, am I cut out of this because I bought digital? Like, that seems trashy. And then it was just like, no, it wasn't. No old man yells at cloud here.
Nope. Good. That's good. Yep. So there you go.
That's Video Game Overlords, which we have a state of play dropping on Wednesday. Just so you know.
What do you think is going to be dropping?
I don't know. It's hard to tell with Sony right now. They're just getting thumped by Xbox. Like, that's the Xbox are hitting exclusivities out of the park right now. right? Like Starfield. I know the games
Same.
themselves aren't very good, but they've got people's attention because of they're releasing the games, right? They're finally at that point in the cycle. This very quickly goes on its ass end when Sony get their stuff coming out and Xbox are in the remission period, right? I
Just
think
wait
Sony are
till Final
killing it
Fantasy
on what's that?
7 remake.
Yeah.
Wait till Final Fantasy 7 remake. And let's be honest, right? Like, how many years of Sony exclusives has there been, right?
Yep.
And this is the difference between the two. The Sony exclusive are playable, right? Like, they're at least good games. They're fun games. I don't hear anything good about a lot of these Xbox exclusives.
They're challenging. Starfield's not that bad, but it's not that great either. It's a middle of the ground game as far as I'm concerned. The Forza Motorsport is that community's upset. Right or wrong,
How
that
come?
community's upset. They just find that the gameplay doesn't make sense to them because they re-rigged how the game works. And then when you make a change like that to your core audience, it's going to be awkward on them. When you look at other exclusives, Halo was a failure, abject failure. Infinite has just died despite trying to be resuscitated a number of times.
Like,
there's, Redfall was horrendous. But they just seem to have the media's attention just with Game Pass and with, now that new one, the Pal World or whatever, being on Xbox. But to me, I'm like, that's just a poor man's like Pokemon. Like it's just a different Pokemon with guns.
Yeah.
It's not really that compelling, and it's very grindy from what I can tell. So I agree with your sentiment about them not having it, but it just seems like a lot of the media seems to be thinking that they do have it just because of the Activision Blizzard deal and the potential of COD or the, potential of Diablo, the potential of some other titles that could go exclusive, the shrouding around the Indiana Jones title where it's a PC/Xbox game, but it's not coming to PS5 right away, if at all. That type of thing, but they're not huge games, but they're more games than Sony has. So I'm looking at this as a make or break kind of Sony thing for the year. Either they're going to have some shocker surprise or they're going to have a big update about something, about upcoming product, or it's going to be a Mea Culpa year where they're just like, we're killing it in sales, so we're not worried about our base. Because that fundamentally is true. They're killing it in sales.
That's great. Sony's doing better at the end of the day, right?
Yes, they're doing 2 to 1 better. Like,
and then just wait until Wolverine comes out. Just wait until
Grand Theft Auto 6.
Just wait until the slate of additional Sony exclusives start coming out, right?
Yeah.
Like, just wait until The Last of Us 3. Just wait for The Last of Us 3.
Yeah. Oh, I know Sony will pull off the miracle landing. I just don't know how much magic dust they have in their bag right now due to dev cycles. Right? That's all I'm saying. They had a great year last year. They really did. Like or the past couple of years with Horizon, the Horizon sequel. You've got Final Fantasy whatever that I bought it. I haven't played it yet. The one that makes your system melt. Then the Final Fantasy 7 remake, the Final Fantasy 16, 15, 16, whatever it is. 16. So I lose track. I don't think in Roman numerals. They did have a good year. They did have a good year. And a lot of
I'm saying a lot. So State of Play, extended looks at Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin. That Rise of the Ronin game looks amazing from what I've seen.
Yeah, it looks very much like a Ghost of Tsushima meets a little bit interesting gameplay. But I did like Ghost of Tsushima, so that was a good one. Even though I didn't finish. But hey, I'm really scared because Last of Us 2, right? Like, Last of Us 2. I don't want to go back and play that. I'm still a little bit in shock.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, the big thing with Sony right now is that outside of Insomniac, we don't know what's going on with the other studios. Release dates are unknown, and so they don't really have a heavy hitter for this year. That's exactly it, right?
Yep.
I think that's part of the problem, but whatever.
I think Wolverine.
It'll give me a year to catch up.
And I don't want to capitalize on the leaks because I avoided the leaks. And I know that we would have avoided them on the show. But this little quaint stuff that I heard was Wolverine's a lot farther out than we would like to hope for.
But again, right? Like, these are
don't know.
Internal roadmaps. You just never know at the end of the day what where they actually are with stuff. So this leads us into, since we're talking about video games, let's continue talking about video games. Let's talk about some live service gaming. Phil, when I say live service games, what do I mean? What comes to mind when someone says live service games?
Well, a live service game is a game that requires an online internet connection. It's a game that probably ships with a blank disc. And it's a game that has to download from the internet, is subject to updates, chapters, series, and probably some PvP, PvE combat system.
Yep.
Do I get $10,000, Alex?
You get a hero biscuit the next time I see you. Okay. In addition to that, live service game is where the publisher plans to continue providing new content, which is sold to the player at incremental rates. I wanted to bring that point up because that is the biggest thing. So let's take a look of popular live service games. Fortnite, Apex Legends, Destiny 2. We have League of Legends, fucking League of Legends, CSGO, Final Fantasy XIV, Grand Theft Auto Online, Rocket League, Dota 2, Fall Guys, Warframe, I love Warframe, Sea of Thieves, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Halo Infinite, Valorant, Marvel Snap, fucking Star Wars Battlefront, Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, and I put Forza Horizon 5 in there too.
Probably one of the biggest examples of a live service game that shit the bed was Marvel's Avengers.
Oh, yeah, Marvel's Avengers. And there's another one recently that really took the craptacular cake. And that was The Day Before. That game released. And they shit the bed so bad on the launch that they unplugged the servers 42 days later.
Yep.
And
that is insane.
Money. And then they just went, okay, boom, we're going to shut it down.
That is insane to me. Now, it's crazy because Dax, on his show, he kind of made a point. And the reason why we're talking about this is because of the whole Kill the Justice League fiasco that's going on.
Yes.
So, he was talking about the fact that Avengers ended up becoming a $3,000 game if you wanted to buy the entire experience. How do you justify as a company, honestly, releasing that much content that costs that much, that when you add it all up, it ends up costing you $3,000 for the entire experience? Phil, how do you justify that?
Here's the thing, too. It wasn't like the game was free. The game on the release date was a AAA price. It was $70 to get a foot in on the Avengers, and it was still a live service game. So right now, you in effect have a coaster, because I think they've shut down the servers, or they're imminently going to. So there's no gameplay. There's no game in there anymore. It was all on Square Enix's servers. Nice coaster.
I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I can see
the plastic is still on.
Oh, yeah, I've got a collector's. I've got a sealed Stadia controller still.
That's gonna go beside your Zune and
no, you know where it goes.
Snapchat glasses.
I still have
your
with
Google...
with the seal still on it. The Xbox 360 HD DVD drive.
Amazing.
Package. Still got one. I picked one up for $50 on clearance at Future Shop. But the point is that with these types of games, they're very bad when the developers lose the appetite to carry the game forward. They screw the community. that may be using them. So if that community can't get their own online servers running, the game dies. The game was like, it was never there to begin with. And that's the biggest problem with games as a service. And I don't know how you justify $3,000. If the game's free, then you have to exercise self-restraint. But like Forza
Like
Horizon 5,
Mike and I tried to do with League of Legends.
Yeah, you have to balance it out or communicate with your friends or, figure out your angle on the game. With Forza Horizon 5, I got the game included in my Game Pass. Okay. I bought the expansions and whatnot at a discount for like $40. So I was happy. I'm like, but the deal was you play it, either you buy a disc or you
Yeah.
buy it or you're using your Game Pass subscription to play it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, to be honest, I flipped this thing because I use my Game Pass subscription because then they start giving me money back on my Xbox account. So then I can cash it in for more games with more off. So I get $10 vouchers every few weeks because I log into the game every day. So there is a little bit of a Xbox hack there, Xbox people. But the problem is that now they're charging what they never used to do with that game. They're charging for car passes. So if you want a car pack each month that the games, like the cars come out, to get the 4 exclusive cars, you have to hand over $8 Canadian. And I'm like, that's like, but their argument is that we're giving the game away for free on Game Pass. But no, I'm paying $20 a month to play it on Game Pass along with other games. So I don't understand where the crying poor is. It's just crying greed. And that's the problem that I have with this whole industry is they're sitting there going, Microsoft lays off 1,900 people last week and out of the gaming division. And did you look at who in the gaming division was cut? It was all the people who ship discs. It was the packaging departments that got cut. So it looks like Xbox is going to a full digital. We've been saying it for years.
We've been saying that.
Xbox are looking at going full digital by releasing an Xbox X this year, that cylinder one, without a disc drive. It's all digital. So the turn is coming, boys and girls. Like, was it Walmart and Best Buy in Canada have decided to stop selling physical discs and games, as well as no movies? You want a movie, you got to go to Amazon now. You want a game, you got to go to Amazon or your local video game store.
That decision, you see, and that's what gets me, right? Like that decision, in my opinion, is a decision that's just going to get me to go to Amazon.
Yeah,
like, that's I don't know. That's just me.
Like,
I'm
you know what
a fan
I did last night
for certain things.
I pre-ordered Aliens 4K and The Abyss 4K. Because I'm like, I want those. I don't want to lose those movies, right? Even though I probably have them 10,000 times.
But still, the point is, though, like this brings us into a whole other conversation about DRM, right? Like that's a whole other conversation that I don't want to get into today. So in terms of live,
we'll compartmentalize
gaming, right?
it. We'll tackle it in another episode.
Yeah, in terms of live service gaming right now, right? Like this to me, live service gaming. At the end of the day, you're essentially constantly paying 5, 6, 7 times the price that you normally would. And for what? Additional content that probably should have been included during the initial release. If you look at all of the content, and I can't add something like a World of Warcraft to this, right? It's more in terms of
Fortnite,
like the Avengers, right? Let's look at all the content for the Avengers. How much do you think actual content there is? Do you think there's any more than we would have seen in a video game 20 years ago?
I don't think there's any more that we would have seen. I think for actual content, it was a grindy mess.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It was like repeated textures, repeated character, icon, like everything was repetitious in that game.
Yep.
Even the level design was atrocious.
Now,
I enjoyed the story element. Once I started playing the game, I immediately did not enjoy playing the game because of the repetition.
Phil, let's take a look at this before we touch about everything that's happening with Kill the Justice League right now. EA. EA is yours and mine's favorite company, video gaming company, right behind Ubisoft, right? Especially when it comes to their sports divisions, and we're really kind of focused on FIFA and what do they call it now? EAFC?
EAFC, yeah.
Sure, whatever. I am surprised that they don't have a membership that you pay every month, and you eventually...
Don't give them ideas. We know they're listening.
I know. I know that they listen. And I'm surprised that there's not like a membership, and these games, NHL, NFL, all those games, EAFC, don't become an active live service. Like, I am shocked that they still haven't done this.
I am so thankful that the Black Friday sale comes along and they sell it for $30 and I get my copy, and then I never give them a dime of my cash again for the rest of the year. I just sit there and play my TFC against whoever this week's opponent is, and that's it. The toughest one for me to bound out of, like, Ubisoft just went and shot everybody in the foot again with their comments, their idiotic comments about gamers have to learn not that they don't own the game. Oh, go screw off, Ubisoft. I was about to give you all kinds of credit for enjoying the Crew Motorfest, and then I'm like, and then you went and you did that. You had a game come out in Prince of Persia, and you shit on the floor. Like, thanks, Ubisoft. No thanks. So the game that I really had a difficult time winding out of because of the changes that they made for this games as a service thing was Destiny. You remember how much I played Destiny? Destiny 1.
You know who plays Destiny? I know one person who plays Destiny more than you.
Oh, yeah? Well,
yeah, Andrew Kapalka. You know, Andrew.
I know Andrew.
Your PS5.
Yeah.
He plays Destiny more than you. Like, literally. Like, that's essentially all he plays. I've seen him in
Destiny a lot because he's on my friends list.
Yeah.
I don't play it anymore. I gave it up cold turkey. Well, me and my whole crew just quit because when they went to the free-to-play games as a service model and still charged $70 an expansion, we're like, we're out of here. The story's not making sense. The gameplay doesn't make sense anymore. Like, nothing makes sense in this game. Not everything is just let's walk around and show off. That's all it is.
Exactly.
Like, I still have yet to even download Fortnite.
Right? I think I played it once or twice with my nephew, and that is it. It's just a game I just never could get behind. I can't get behind these battle royale games for the most part. Right? It's something that I just can't do. Now, let's talk, before we talk about the future of gaming, because I have a pivotal question that I brought up to Dax in our show, All of the Week Geekly, which you can find on Sunday Night's Main Event, favorite podcast catcher, Sunday Night's Main Event. Go and find it. And it was this. So, Kill the Justice League, and Alex brings up a fantastic point. Besides everything else, I think the biggest, and this is Alex's thing, the big problem with Suicide Squad, aside from the live service elements, is that people are discovering what this game's story is. The title of the game, Kill the Justice League. 100%, that's what it is, right? That's one of the major issues. But let's now talk about the actual game itself. Phil, anytime a distributor, publisher, whatever you want to call them, developer, have media blackouts,
embargoes.
Up until the embargoes, up until the 11th hour, what does that usually tell you?
Your game is poo-poo.
Now, when said publisher refuses to give you codes, what does that really tell you? That tells you one of two things.
We made shit, and we're selling it for gold. That's what it tells me.
Also, you pissed us off in some shape or form over the past little while. So right now, I just love seeing this because I love seeing two companies like this just go to battle. We have Rocksteady and that famous video gaming website with 3 letters that I absolutely love. I'm going to say them once for the sake of this conversation, especially for the new listeners, IGN. We love IGN here.
Oh, yeah.
So seeing this battle, Unfold has been Christmas for me. I didn't get a lot for Christmas this year, but the video game industry and the feud between those three letters and Rocksteady right now is just warming up my heart, because clearly, those three letters pissed off Rocksteady in some shape, way, or form, because they are not sending those three letters a code at all.
Hey,
and literally,
doesn't
have you noticed?
Destin work for IGN?
Who?
Destin?
Yeah.
I think he does. Yeah, well, that's why.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Destin is the bright spot in IGN.
Yeah.
I will say that. Destin overall has a pretty good head on his shoulders, and he calls it for what it is.
Mhm.
So I think that's
Now,
probably who got them in a little bit of a doo-doo battle.
I think so too. Now, what I'm absolutely loving, like I say, they're fighting, but I love how those three letters have gone out of their freaking way. Out of their freaking way to break the NDA. Yeah, exactly, Alex. They broke the NDA with Rocksteady. So why do they expect to get codes? But now those three letters, what they're doing right now is amazing, because literally they have a campaign. It's almost worse than what they did to Cyberpunk. Like, they are out there to completely shit on this game. Every horrible thing. Like, they're literally went where I heard about what happened with the early release. Now, Rocksteady can go fuck themselves too. There go our codes for life. But Rocksteady, they're fucking up left, right, and center. So first off, the media embargo, not good. Second off, the communication throughout the development life cycle of this game has been absolutely ridiculous. Yep. It's a live service game. It's not a live service game. It is a live service game. It's partially live service. Just wait and see.
But we're not going to try to get your money.
Yeah.
That was the last one I heard. I'm like, okay, this business model's doing well.
Yep. Exactly.
Like, did you borrow the execs from Ubisoft? A lot of shit on your card.
Right. And then, on the release date, for the people who paid a shit ton to get like the super deluxe edition, who are able to play $72, $120, 72 hours early. First, in New Zealand, it goes live. Within hours, they had to drop the entire service and restart everything because there was a major bug. Essentially, the bug would have your game auto-magically finish itself without you doing shit.
I saw they had to suspend things an hour after launch.
Than an hour. We're aware that a number of players are currently experiencing an issue whereby upon logging into the game for the first time, they have full story completion. Womp, womp, womp. There we go. To resolve this issue, we will be performing maintenance on the game servers. During this time, the game will be unavailable. We expect this to take several hours, and we'll update once we have more information. We apologize for the inconvenience. Number 2 issue with live service games. Right here.
Yep.
Right there.
How many times, though, as a games as a service, I don't know, the easiest one for me to put the crosshairs on is World of Warcraft. I don't know how many times, like anything Blizzard does. Day one is a steaming trash heap of getting onto a server. Like Diablo, World of Warcraft on patch day or expansion day. Like, you are 1,332 in line. Please stay connected. Like, come on, guys. Like, you got to know your audience and you got to know the surge. You got to build around this. And the same crap used to happen with Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was nights where we just knew there's no way we're touching this game because it's not going to allow us into the crucible. Like, we're out. Like, you're either going to be poning around on your own or there's no way that you can coordinate a group with the structure of the game because of the server backlog.
Yep.
It sucks. It just sucks. That's why games as a service sucks. Now, I also get the whole idea that not everybody wants to have a single player adventure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Like I do get that. I do understand it. But there's got to be some middle ground. And I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm old.
Look, and right now, I don't even want to talk about the quality of this game. I don't want to talk about the story. I don't want to talk about the fact that freelance critic Alan Wren said Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, as I'm told by a Rocksteady representative, part of the Arkhamverse, but you would know just by looking at it, and after playing it for almost 4 hours, I'm not sure you would know it was from the same studio behind the best superhero game trilogy ever made. I'm not talking about the quality of the game. I'm not going to bring any of that up. I want to focus on the live service game aspect of it and how Rocksteady flat out lied to people. And
they lost a lot of
employees together on release week.
They lost a lot of employees. Like they went and created their own studio, right? They were just like so appalled at how misleading management or marketing was on this game. And there's probably a lot of people who got shown the door because that's what they do in the games industry right now is, hey, look, record profits last year. Well, we need to cut our headcount by 12%. Like, what?
That's the entire tech industry, and that's a conversation for when Tyler is back.
Stuff just doesn't make sense, and games as a service is just part of that dark decline into the digital non-owned game front that some people are running straight into with freaking no regard for the rest of the community.
Phil, 100%. This is maybe I'm getting old. I'm turning into my brother a little too much. Maybe it's the age. Maybe it's just I'm bitter. Maybe I'm turning into you. I don't know what the fuck it is. But this whole live service game stuff and this type of stuff, this is what's literally turning me off of gaming 100%. It bothers me so much. Like this could be the thing. And I'm going to tell you this, the catalyst to this is, and this is how we're going to know the future of live service gaming. Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh, that's just a rickroll I'm not looking forward to. That's going to hurt.
We know nothing about this game.
I can tell you right now, we are going to get so buggered at the cash counter. No matter how they do this, I'll bet you they charge for their online game. I'll bet they charge for the not online game. I'll bet you they charge for the PS6 version of it, double the price, full price. You know what I mean? That'll come a year after this releases.
You're gonna have to pre-buy the PS6 version before you can even buy the PS5 version.
Exactly. They're gonna they're not even gonna hand out cream for that. That's just a raw rank. Like just you're done. You're done. Like, and the other one, when I was thinking about it, when Alex and you were talking about what IGN did, didn't IGN do the same thing to Redfall and Bethesda?
Mm-hmm.
Like they broke their NDA on that one and completely like trashed that game and like to the point where Bethesda blames them for ruining the launch of the game.
Honestly, IGN has way too much power over stupid gamers. But here's the thing. This is the thing that gets to be the most about live service gaming.
Redfall was crap.
Okay,
I'll give them that credit.
It was crap. But here's the thing. So IGN aside, we are the consumers. What gets to me, Phil, is that as consumers, we have control of where we want the video game industry to be. We put our hard-earned money into stuff, and video gamers love to complain. They love to complain, but the issue is, all they do is complain. They don't actually back it up with not buying this shit.
That's the hilarious part, man. When Xbox do this, where they say, oh, look at here, see? You can get Starfield on day one. Day and date free on Xbox Game Pass. But if you give us $50, we'll give you a week early access. Take my money, said everybody to get early access. And I'm just laughing my ass off because I'm like, how trained are we to just completely give? Like, I have a really tough time believing all of the doom and gloom about inflation. I know it exists. I know it's real. I know the struggle. But we still find a way to waste our money. Like, okay, you take out collecting physical movies and you put everything online and we pay for the subscription and we still get a little bit of pocket change. And then we're running right out to Microsoft to give it to them to pay for a free game. Like,
yeah.
It's just hilarious.
Honestly,
to me.
We're the consumer. We have the power to honestly dictate the future of gaming. If live service gaming honestly bothers you this much, don't put your hard-earned cash into it.
I would say this
it's
too.
bothering me more and more. It's bothering me more and more. Like, this is what I mean. Like, this is the stuff that's turning me off of video gaming in general. This is the everything. This is just like, I just can't right now. It bothers me to the upteenth level. We have the power. We're the consumers. It's our hard-earned money. If we don't want to pay for live service games, if we think live service games are stupid, tell the studios. You know how you tell the studios? Don't fucking pay for it. Stop falling. Stop. Just stop. Just stop.
The biggest thing is stop buying pre-orders. Buy a game based off of its review and its merit. Look at the gameplay on Twitch.
And not on IGN.
Check it out. Not on IGN, but on Twitch or your favorite reviewer or whoever they are, Alana Pierce. I don't care. Go get an informed opinion about the game and then buy it. You don't have to pre-order it. Believe it or not, that skin doesn't mean that much. Like what they're putting in there. Oh, look, the pre-order bonus is 3 megabytes because it's just garbage.
Yeah. Like, I just don't understand.
Have a different
I just don't understand. All gamers do is complain, bitch, and complain, bitch, and complain. And if we have the power, we're the ones who honestly dictate this shit. But we allow it. You know what we do? We bend over and we open up, we pucker up. That's what we do.
Yep. Don't stop till they feel the back of their molars.
I just can't, Phil. I just can't with this stuff. I can't with this stuff because it bothers me so much.
Oh, 2024, Boris is an angry man.
Sorry?
2024, Boris is an angry man. I'm telling you.
Oh,
I'm the chilled out one.
You have no fucking idea. Hold on. Give me 1 second as I pre-order Kill the Justice League.
Oh, actually, well, didn't you do it online with Dax and I where you pre-ordered the Spider-Man console? Just saying.
Yes, and
that was a good game.
No, but like, I don't know. Like, if something honestly bothers you, if you don't like it, why are you supporting it? Why are you putting your hard-earned cash, especially in this day and age when you don't have all the accessible money that you do and that you did and whatever, right? If you're struggling to pay your bills, you pay to buy food, to whatever, to keep yourself alive.
Yep.
You have to be smart. Games. You just have to be smarter. Just have to be smarter.
There's no award for having the most crappy games. Right? Like
Ubisoft would win every single fucking year.
Well, EA is pretty good. My Anthem disc is back there somewhere.
Man,
that was a great one. Look, we're gonna beat Destiny meets Iron Man, and then we're gonna die 1 month after launching. But we're still gonna charge you $70.
Same thing with all the remasters and remakes. If you don't want it, don't get it. The reason companies release so many is because they sell well.
Hey, I don't mind a remake for $15, like Last of Us 2. That was a good exchange. Where we got screwed was Last of Us 1, the remaster. I had to wait until that dropped down to below $50 before I would buy it. But they wanted full price for that, and it was the same game. And I do agree, you don't buy that crap if that's what they're going to do. Wait for a deep, deep discount.
Or, you know how you make a remaster remake?
Put the old disc in the drive.
You see, this is how I know we haven't podcast at all. See, when I ask a question, you have to verbally say, "Why, Boris?"
Why, Boris?
Or which Boris in this case? Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that was That was a big remake. That was a whole.
No, but I'm saying no. I'm commending them
Yes.
because
That is
at the end of the day,
yeah,
it's a whole new game.
It's a whole new game. Yeah, it's got a whole new different content. it's improved upon. Like Last of Us 2 for $15 remastered into PS5, I'll tolerate it. But giving me the extra rogue level or whatever, no. That's just bullshit. Taking away the multiplayer, that's sketch too. But I get that the game doesn't lend itself to that platform. I can almost forgive $15. I can't forgive 70. Like I can't anything north of 50. I'm even hesitant to do anything more than 20 would be my argument on that. Otherwise, I'll just play the old game because it still looks pretty damn good. If you go head to head with the PS4 version on the PS5 with the enhanced 4K mode, like I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if we really improved that game that much. Like, okay, Rumble. That's about it. Like, we're talking the finer points in life now.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I bought Borderlands 3 for PS5, the enhanced PS5 version, I spent a total of $3 on that. And I'm like, hey, you can have my $3. I'll do that for haptic feedback, sure. But if you think I'm going to buy the whole game, no bloody way.
Alex says some games deserve remakes just because you can't play the originals anymore. My problem is when remakes are for not old games and they're worse with less content.
Yeah.
Or you have the Silent Hill issue where they literally just lost everything.
Yeah. And then you got companies like Capcom that kind of did the Resident Evil stuff. I heard good things about those remakes, but those were on old consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're getting them on the new, which is fair. I would agree with that statement 100%. I think
Nintendo is pretty good at doing that, right? Like Mario RPG.
They give space. Yeah. They give a lot of space on their console, on their re-releases, or just putting them on their online store. They give them a lot of air. The thing that cheeses me off with Nintendo, which there isn't a lot that cheeses me off with Nintendo lately, but I wasn't too happy about the state of the last set of Pokemon games that didn't really run well on the Switch, but such is life. At least we got them. I don't know that they'll ever work properly, but I'm not the target audience.
Exactly. That's where we're at. So like I said, let's see what happens. Let's see where we go with live service gaming. And I think that the real litmus test for a lot of games, for a lot of the future of gaming, is going to be GTA 6 and whether that is live service. Because by that point,
it is.
That's so far in the future at this point, right? That we'll know kind of where we're going to be. I think it will be. I think it's going to be live service.
I think they're going to, like I say, roll it out as a single player game. Then they're going to add the live service components and they're going to charge for them.
Red Dead.
That's the thing. It's the next Red Dead where they're going to say, you want online play? $20, little man. Put it in my hand. Yes, you can. And the other thing that they're going to do is they're going to raise the price of that game. From everything that I can tell, ain't nothing going to be $90 in Canada with this. They're going north of 100 for just the base game. So
N64 games were $100 back then.
Yeah, back in the 90s. Yeah, they were. But I'm just saying, like, as much as we want to sit there and say, oh, $70 is a lot for a game, and it is. It's going to be a lot more than that soon, I think. I think it's just a matter of time.
But here's the thing, right? It's the Battlefront 2 type of mentality that really gets to me with live service gaming.
Yeah. I agree.
Remember that fiasco?
Loot boxes.
Did you live that fiasco in real time? I after Battlefront 1, I never bothered with 2.
Well, I couldn't stay away from 2 because 2 had a story game in it. There was a story, single player story arc in it. I didn't get into the online stuff, but I devoured there's even a book that I have on my shelf and back here that relates to it, about that the main character, the TIE fighter pilot that switches to become a rebel, and she helps to find the map to Luke Skywalker, which related to the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Which was a mess. But there's a bunch of Easter eggs because you found a hiding spot that Luke Skywalker was hanging out in. Something like that. Yep. I remember it. It's all tied into the comics.
Yep. Exactly.
But
All
that
right.
was the only redeeming
That's
quality. So
That's video games in the state of video games. We'll see. Honestly, like I said, the video game industry is on the verge of losing a lot of people, I think. People like me, bitter, old, people who are just angry at being taken advantage of.
yep. Well, it's certainly changed my gaming habits already. Like I've noticed, aside from the stuff that I can enjoy with close friends and a single player experience, I'm more tempted to watch a movie or watch a show. So I just started last night, Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix. First episode, quite good, gotta say. Looking forward to the next 7. It's a lot of content, that's for sure. At an hour long each. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's my direction now. But
right. All right, let's take a look at this. Let us jump to streaming. I know we always talk streaming. Streaming is always a hot topic here on the It's Canon podcast, and I like to revisit it from time to time because I feel like every time we talk, the streaming industry changes a little bit. Like I was talking about earlier, the WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, last week, up and down week for them, but we'll talk about the business end of stuff. They signed a $5 billion 10-year contract with Netflix, where in the USA they're going to be Netflix is going to be the exclusive home for Monday Night Raw. If you're outside of the USA, which we are here in Canada, Latin America, UK, etc., Netflix is going to be the exclusive home of everything WWE, including the PLEs, pay-per-views, including WrestleMania, and everything.
Wow.
In the USA, after 2026. Netflix will be the exclusive home of WWE moving forward once their contract with Peacock is up. So
they're going to make a lot of money.
Here's the crazy part. So, sorry. So I should say the exclusive home of pay-per-views and their back catalog, because SmackDown just recently signed a contract with the USA Network that's lasting 5 years. So the Netflix deal, it is worth $5 billion. Billions. 10 years, $5 billion with a B. Netflix in the contract has some conditions where they can break the contract within 5 years, but they can also extend the contract to 20 years. So we're either going to get 5 years, 10 years, or a 20-year partnership. And apparently, if they go to the 20-year partnership, WWE, TKO, is the parent company of UFC and WWE, they will get in excess of $10 billion.
Well, that seems low. But hey, I'm sure the money works for somebody. Yeah, I think Netflix make it like bandits on this.
I think they are. And now here's the thing, right? I think that what's going to be really interesting is we've seen Netflix shit the bed when it comes to live programming. You know, I forget what it was last year. I think Love is Blind. They tried to do the live special last April, and it just completely failed. A lot of people were blocked out. It wasn't working. You couldn't load Netflix. They have a year to figure this out, but it'll be very interesting to kind of see where we end up with that. Right, that's a whole other issue there. You know, NFL Thursday in the States. Here in Canada, everything is still on Rogers
cable TV,
and Bill.
Yeah,
but in the States, the NFL, they air their Thursday games on Amazon. That seems to be going well. And anytime you log on to Amazon, do you ever notice that they have more live sports? It might not be the major sports leagues, but they're getting more and more live sports.
Well, they even had the EPL contract for a while, but they've farmed it out to their own DAZN, right? So they kind of put it through a pay channel on that, but DAZN was owned by Amazon. I was half expecting, I think there was some games that were showing on the EPL on the weekends that would show up in Prime Video. So they've been playing with it. Apple's been playing with it with MLS and Major League Baseball. You know, and they're absolutely atrocious commentary though. Because the commentators have no skin in the game for the marketplace,
Bingo.
right?
That's exactly it. It's all general. It's all down the middle commentary. It's all down the middle analyst. It's not regional. So us in Toronto, the commentators don't give a shit. They don't know anything about Toronto. They do their quote unquote research. So that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize that has been and will continue to be the major complaint with the Apple TV MLS stuff, right? Anytime that, remember when Facebook and now Apple show an MLB game, that's the major issue. People would rather listen to those games on the radio because you get that regional feel.
My
to it.
dad watches. I'll throw it on Apple TV when the Major League Baseball night is on. This year for the Toronto Blue Jays, they had 3 or 4 nights with that crew in town, and my dad would sit there and it would be the most unenjoyable event of it. You'd swear I brought him to the dentist because he's like, this sucks. I'm like, well, what sucks? Tell me what sucks. And he goes, doesn't even feel like it's at the Sky Dome. And apparently you're telling me it is. This is a home game. He goes, I don't feel the atmosphere. They keep on cutting away to just long shots of the stadium. We don't even see commercials. There's weird music. I don't like these people. Like, it was just like this litany of just, holy cow, tell me how you really feel, dude. He's just like, I don't like this person. I don't like that person. I don't like the crew. Where's Buck?
Yeah. That's exactly it, right? And we're facing that with the MLS and stuff, so that's all going away. And I was talking to, actually, you know him, VJ, who does a lot of work with Canada Soccer, right? And CONCACAF. He's a instructor at Schulich School of Business, so I brought him on my wrestling show, and we were kind of talking about this WWE Netflix deal. And I asked him, hey, what's the deal with the older generation, right? Like someone like your dad. If you're not there, can your dad navigate to find sports?
Oh, my dad can't. No, I have to curate everything. Everything.
My parents can't.
Yeah.
So what these companies are essentially doing at this point too, which is kind of funny when you think about it, is that these companies have turned streaming companies and sports companies, they've turned their back on Gen X. They're like, we don't need you anymore. Yep. They're looking at Gen Z. They're looking at Gen Alpha. They're looking at us.
Yep. I'm Gen X.
You're Gen X. But even then, there's a lot of people your age.
But there's a lot of people my age that are being left out. Yep. The boomers are
out of
Schitt's Creek. They're up Schitt's Creek. My dad can't even figure out when the next hockey game's on.
Yeah.
I had to train him to ask Google because they don't even put out schedules anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's nearly impossible to figure it out. So,
and then let's take a look at the streaming. So that, like, sports and streaming is a whole phenomenon that is going to become a lot more interesting because you're leaving out a whole generation of fans. You're like, it's crazy that that's happening, and you're removing that regional feel that, as the French say, I don't know what with the regional touch, right? Like, and that's a huge issue in my opinion.
I agree. It robs me of happiness. I don't enjoy watching TFC games.
I got in a huge fight with my former podcasting partner Matt about this very issue when I brought up the MLS, and I'm like, dude, get used to this. Get fucking used to this. This is the future. And he's like, I don't care. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, you are going to care when you're spending 10 times more money to watch your favorite sports team.
Yep. When all of
you are going to care when you need an Apple subscription and then the MLS on Apple to watch TFC. You are going to care when you have to pay for TSN and then TSN Plus on top of it.
Exactly. My dad, he doesn't even know what he's watching when he's watching TV. He'll see these ads for the apps, right? And he goes, well, at Christmas, TSN were running this Boxing Day promotion or whatever where it was like 30% off. And my dad was like, maybe we should get that. I'm like, no. Why would we get it when we have 5 channels from them? I'm sure it's on one of the 5 channels. This is just a way of delivering it to your phone. And some bonus content, but he doesn't understand it. He's just like, well, should we get that? And I'm like, no, it's not for us. He doesn't even understand that, right? It's kind of scary. I feel bad for people who have to. At least my dad knows to ask me before he goes and he puts down money on something. But I'm pretty sure he's going to pre-order a video game any day soon now.
That's what I'm afraid of with my parents. Like, I am scared shitless that they're gonna press the wrong button and they're gonna sign their lives away or something.
Yep, they're going to be at Crypto Kid 35's newest customer.
Exactly.
The worst part for me is what Amazon Prime are doing with Prime Video. I put my good money into Mr. Bezos's hand every year at a certain time of year when my renewal comes up. This is one of the few subscriptions that I say, yes, you can take the whole amount at once. So here's my $75 or whatever my Prime membership went up to last year. All right. And in exchange, I get 2-day shipping. Thanks. In exchange, I get Prime Video. Thanks. In exchange, I get Prime Video without commercials. But now you're telling me, as of this week, that if I'm watching Prime Video, of which it is my least watched video service, because it's included with my Prime service, I don't really associate a huge amount of value, except when a good show is on, like Invincible, like The Boys, that type of thing, right? There are things that appeal to me. Not the whole catalog appeals to me, but that's okay. It's varied. Now you're telling me that you're going to put commercials in. Now, I watch Pluto TV a lot. I get that. I don't log into that. They just send pictures to my TV and they put ads in. Okay. Free. Good. I paid for a service and now you're changing that service months before. It should be my service stays the same. And upon renewal, I can choose a $26 less package that puts commercials into my Prime viewing watching. I don't get the bait and switch part. I don't get how that's allowed.
Yeah.
And that's what Amazon Prime customers are getting really upset about, is that we didn't agree to this. You're forcing it. And you're changing the nature of the product. And you're changing it should be upon renewal that your package switches. But that sounds like it's going to be messy because then people have to do work. Oh my gosh. Instead of just going into the back and just yelling at a bunch of IT guys to just make it happen for this date.
Yep.
Right?
And the prices constantly go up. Netflix is costing, we're going to use Canadian dollars for the sake of Canadian dollars, right? Netflix is costing $25 a month. That's going to be going up. Disney Plus is costing $12. That's going to be going up. Amazon Prime, if you're paying for that monthly, it's $12. That's going to be going up. If you have,
if you want commercial free and you bought the years thing, it's $3 extra a month to get commercial free.
Yep.
So go.
Yep.
The
fact that I just can't fathom the fact that they're adding
TV,
commercials and ads and then Apple. You know what the beauty about Apple TV is? Chances are you can get it for free long enough that you're not paying.
Yeah, you could surf around and find MLBBaseball.com, the free 3 months, and then the MLS free 3 months. And
well, we get it as season ticket holders, right? So cool.
But you don't get the base subscription. I have friends who have access to Apple TV, but they can't watch the content on Apple TV, only MLS. So, but that one's the least problematic for me because it went from $6 to $8 here in Canada, I think. And it's got probably the best quality content, right? Like Monarch was
Masters
fantastic.
Of the Air is awesome.
Masters
Monarch was
of the
great.
Air.
Masters of the Air, poof, beautiful.
Yeah, Silo,
beautiful.
Like there's a lot of the Survivor for All Mankind. Like it's Ted Lasso. Like it's home run after home run on that platform, and they probably do the most consistent job in delivery.
Again, I feel like I'm doing a disservice saying this out loud, but what I've done is, you know how you can have the family plan with Apple, right?
Yeah.
I'm going through Apple to purchase AMC Plus, to purchase Paramount Plus. And if you're a part of the family plan for those, everyone in your family gets that. So there's
nice
account sharing in a sense, as opposed to password sharing.
Yeah.
So Alexander, he gets to watch through my account because he's part of my family.
Yeah, he gets to watch Halo Season 2 coming up.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
February 5th, baby. Fire up for the fake Master Chief.
But yeah, so, man, my hair is doing some crazy shit right now. So, yeah, right now it's streaming. So, like, again, $25, $12. You know, you're paying in excess of $100 if you want to watch everything. Right? Like, it's crazy. Easily. Now, if you take a look at cable, let's take a look at Rogers Ignite. Actually, Phil, vamp for a little bit while I take a look at their pricing.
Oh, okay. Well, Alex is telling me he didn't even bother with Season 1 of Halo, which I will say this. Season 1 of Halo was not great, but the sound design was awesome. The special effects were pretty good. And they're promising to tell a better story in the second season because I think we're going to do the Fall of Reach, which, if you've played Halo, that's kind of like one of those really crucial events in the fall of mankind. It's the Fall of Reach. So it's there's going to be lots of Spartans that bite the dust. But yeah, I was okay with the first season. I think there's a lot to be. I think they betrayed the character, but they made a choice.
So here's the thing.
How much is Ignite?
So, this is new customers. 24-month term. Now, remember, we're saying, let's just say $100, and we're being very, 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 very conservative with that number.
Yeah,
$100 for all the streaming services.
Yeah,
plus 30.
Okay.
Fuck, it's probably more actually than $100. Let's just say, for the sake of this argument, $100. You need internet. Ignite internet is $149 a month, which is like, you know, top of the line internet.
Okay, so let's say you get $100 a month internet.
Yeah.
Right? You get a half decent package. You don't go all in. You don't go balls deep, but you go in higher than just a tippy toe.
Oh, sorry, that is TV. Sorry, that's their TV package. Let me see the internet. So you can get package TV and internet for $200 a month. All right. So now, internet alone.
About right.
Internet alone. Oh, I hate this website. This is like
probably about $100. I can tell you from my Bell bill.
It is. So the 2.5 gigabit is $130. 1.5 gigabit is $119. And whatever, the bottom of the one is $109. So let's just say $100. So you're paying, at the very least, $210 to have cutting the cord.
Yeah, just cutting the cord.
Now, what did I say? The Ignite TV plus internet was $189 per month.
But the worst part is that the cord cutting, like the problem is the content moved to the cord cutters. Have you seen the state of regular TV now?
That's the problem.
Yeah, like I'll tell you this much, okay? Like Pluto TV, I don't have a gripe with, like I say, because they're free. But
Hell's Kitchen.
You know what they do? They just, I don't know if they have bots doing it or what, because they seem to be on this big kick where they have people working there. But they look for peaks and valleys in the audio to be the signals to cut the commercial. So if you're watching Top Gear, after the audience applauds for the guest to go out and do his, reasonably priced car lap, then that's when the commercials come in. And then it comes back on and you're jarred into watching what you were expecting it to transition into. And then the commercial break is after that. And they completely miss it and float through it. So I just don't understand that part of it. And when I watch regular TV, okay, that's great. But you know what my mission is lately? Is to watch Bob's Burgers as many times in a day as possible on cable TV. That's my challenge, because I can't find any content otherwise, unless I want to watch How I Met Your Mother. Like, it quite literally is At 4 o'clock, there's 2 episodes of Bob Burgers that come on Adult Swim. And then at 8 o'clock, the same 2 episodes air. But on the weekends at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, OLN shows 8 hours of Bob's Burgers. And then they show 7 hours on Sunday. That transitions into an earlier time on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
That's like my challenge now. It's just like, okay, I've seen all these episodes before. I don't care. But TV is like this wasteland of non-good content.
So going back to this, right? So
for me,
for a lot of people, man, for a lot of people, but let's just say, right, you know, for $1 in terms of quote unquote cord cutting and regular TV at this point with internet. So it's like, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane where we are in the state of streaming. Now, let's take into consideration this, right? Back in the day, I remember back in 2010, when I originally got Netflix, I was able to easily watch anything I wanted because it was only Netflix. Now every company under the sun has figured out, and this is why it costs so much, exclusive, and they're bringing stuff home and blah, 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 blah. It's absolutely crazy right now, right?
Well,
so what did this lead to? We called it the rise of piracy. Phil, between these numbers, between 2022 and 2021, film piracy alone went up 38.6%, and TV piracy went up 8.8%. That's between 2021 and 2022. Now, if we take a look at 2022 and 2023, in total, so far, it's up 10%.
Yeah. And what they're doing now is they're targeting the IPTVs and all these different streaming devices that are illegally doing it. And like in Canada, Bell and Rogers are complaining to the CRTC. They're cracking down on those. So those sites are getting taken down. People still find a way. There's sites out there to do it, right? And they'll get their content. And that's what it's leading to. And the next thing that you're going to see is not only prices going up, I think you're going to see Netflix and some of these bigger streamers start to lock you into contracts, like i.e. you have to sign a minimum 6-month deal in order to get our service now. We're no longer going month to month. It's 6 months. And you can quit, but you're not getting your money back. Because I think right now people are playing the game of how little can I spend? Like I told my friend, he said, I want to watch X show. And I said, oh, that's on Paramount Plus. And I said, kill one of your other streaming services, get Paramount Plus for a month and wear it out. Like go watch your show and then be done with it. He wanted to watch. Oh, get this. He came to me and he asked where he could watch Lower Decks. And I'm like, dude, really? And he's just like, yeah, I kind of want to watch Lower Decks. And I'm like, Paramount Plus. But I'm like, then get the hell off of it because there's not enough content to keep you going on that.
But they're cracking down on that, right?
Yeah, they're going to figure out ways around it.
3 months minimum, 6 months minimum, a year minimum. I know a lot of people that used to do that. And all of this is happening while Amazon Prime Video alone, Amazon Prime Video could pull in $1 billion in revenue this year.
Unreal. And they're the minnows, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
They're the minnows.
How crazy is that? How crazy is that?
It is crazy, Boris. But you know what time it is.
Oh, you know exactly what time it is. We know what time it is. We all know what time it is. Phil, do your thing.
Yep. You can track us down on www.itscanonpodcast.com. You can look us up on Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook at It's Canon Podcast. You can email us at show@itscanonpodcast.com. Not sure if we can access it, but hey, you can send it there. You can subscribe anywhere where you find podcasts. You obviously found this. If you see us on YouTube or any platform where you can leave feedback, we'd love a like, maybe pop us a subscribe and check out our Patreon at patreon.com/SNME radio, because there are affiliates and they are good to us and we love working with them. So please, please, please keep on listening to the It's Canon podcast. And thank you for taking your time to spend with us. Boris?
Always thank you so much for listening. Whether this is the first episode or the 100th episode that you listened to, thank you so much. We're usually not this angry, but the tech industry right now, the consumer tech industry, is in such a weird place right now that it boils my blood. It really does boil my blood. And again, let's just remember that we are the consumers. We control the future of tech with our pockets. Let's be smart about how we spend our money. We'll talk about happier things. Fuck you, Rogers, for having an AI bot trying to sell me something. So you've been listening to the It's Canon podcast, the show where we chat about all things, everything. The show where we chat about all things comics, video games, toys, Lego, what have you. It's all good. We talk about it all here on the It's Canon podcast. And Phil, you know what the best part of it all is?
I heard someone tell me that it's all in canon.
Exactly. It's all in canon. He's Phil. I'm Boris. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, stay tranquilo.